Welcome to another episode of Chappy Hour. I'm your host, Chloë Chapdelaine, and today we have on a very exciting guest because it's my mom.
Hello.
This is Terrie.
Hi.
I never use your first name when I'm talking, and so it feels weird to say that. But my mom is here for the weekend, and I'm super pumped that she's here. A little bit about her. She has a background in pharmacy. She's my best friend. We talk every single day.
Aw.
She's a huge supporter of the podcast.
I am. It's awesome.
Yeah, she actually came up with the name.
Chappy Hour.
Yeah, which makes sense. But I'm super pumped to have you on the podcast today. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for daring to have me.
I know. Is this your first ever podcast?
Ever.
That's pretty exciting.
But I listen to all of your podcasts.
Well, thank you. But today we are drinking mimosas because I hosted a Galentine's party earlier this week and I gave all the girls champagne when they came in. But we also made Shirley Temples, and so I had some orange juice left over. And so it just felt natural to use them both together and have mimosas. So that's what we are drinking on the episode today. But whatever you are drinking, get cozy, raise your glass, and cheers! Welcome to Chappy Hour. It's kind of like happy hour, but with me, Chloë Chapdelaine, where I catch up with a friend over drinks. It doesn't need to be 5 o'clock to join, so grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Cheers. We are going to start off strong by diving into the I'll Take a Double section, which is where we each share a life hack with the audience. And both of our life hacks are sticking to the same theme, and that is gluten-free. Because both my mom and I are gluten-free. We've both been gluten-free for about a decade now, hey?
Already.
Isn't that crazy? I
Yes.
just realized that the other day somebody asked me, and I was like, you know what? I think it's been close to 10 years.
That's nuts. Yeah,
Which
it
is crazy. But my mom found out that she was gluten-free right before me, and then I went gluten-free shortly after.
Found out I was celiac.
Yeah, actually, sorry. Found out that she had celiac disease.
I wouldn't just choose to be gluten-free.
No, me
Ever.
neither. Absolutely not.
Never.
Every day I dream about cinnamon buns and croissants and all of the good tasty food in life. But it's getting a lot better being gluten-free, I will say, which is a whole talk in itself. But my mom has a life hack if you're doing some gluten-free cooking. And do you want to share that with us?
Okay, here's my hack. So, I raised you in what you referred to as a ingredients only household. So we didn't have Oreo cookies. We didn't I'd make everything from ingredients. And then moving on from that, when I found out I had to eat gluten-free, it was a bit of a conundrum because I didn't want to buy 17,000 ingredients with like xanthan gum and flax or psyllium husk and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, there's got to be an easy way to bake. And there is. So if any of you have to make a gluten-free snack for any of your buddies, just go to the grocery store, buy whatever, flour alternative they have that's gluten-free, and add 1 extra egg and 1 teaspoon of baking powder to the recipe. And that's it. And I promise you, your cookies or your cake will be perfect.
It's true. And you should believe my mom of anybody because she's the best cook or baker that both that I've ever encountered.
You.
Honestly, your baking, both gluten-free and normal back when it was able to be normal, is the actual best. And of all of the gluten-free treats that I've had, nothing that has been store-bought has compared to what you have made.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, literally.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's
Thank
true.
You. Well, I know, like when you and Hamish got married, everything that we ate at the wedding was gluten-free because that would be catastrophic. If you have.
It'd be so bad.
Yeah, so bad. So, but I did have people come up to me afterwards and say, I cannot believe everything was gluten-free because it tasted pretty good.
Okay, sorry, a little off tangent, actually. I saw a TikTok today of this girl, and she was talking about her bread maker, and she's like, did you guys know that you could get a bread maker? This is like, and she was like influencing for bread makers, which I just thought was so funny. She's like showing people how it's like so cool that you can just make a loaf of bread, because every single day of my entire life, I swear, growing up, you made a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Every day, a normal loaf, like non-gluten free, because I ate regular gluten bread for most of my life.
The good old days.
But yeah, I thought that was so funny.
Well, and even Auntie Kelly right now makes her gluten-free bread in a bread maker.
Really?
Yeah.
And does it work out well for her?
She says so, but I think you have to invest in some special flour.
Or you probably just have to eat it fresh.
Yeah. Maybe.
or freeze it and then toast it.
Maybe.
That's a good gluten-free hack. Toast your gluten-free bread if you're going to eat it. Like if you are going to have a piece of bread that is gluten-free and you have access to a toaster, it will make it 100 times better if you toast it. The texture is better, the taste is better. It just overall will make it better. And if you are going to a Subway specifically, get it double toasted. It has to be double toasted, not like microwaved and then toasted, because one guy, he was a worker there, he was trying to be so nice and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna microwave it and then toast it and it's gonna be the best. And it like turned into this like chewy, crunchy mess. You just have to double toast it and it will significantly improve the texture of your gluten-free bread.
100%.
Yeah, but the hack that I actually was like planning on sharing with you guys for my hack was if you are hosting a party, just because I just hosted one this week and you're planning on making gluten-free goods or having gluten-free goods for somebody who is gluten-free, my hack is keep the packaging, because as somebody with celiac disease, it can be really scary going to somebody else's house and eating their food. And like, I know people sometimes have the absolute best intentions, but at the end of the day, if the person who's making that food isn't gluten-free themselves, sometimes there are just little things that they don't know to look out for that can be hidden in the ingredients list. And so it's always good, even if you don't keep the packaging, you just take a photo of it and you just ask the person before you serve it to them, like, hey, do you want to just double check that this is all good? That will give such a peace of mind to the person who's receiving the gluten-free goods. Like, it's already amazing that you're creating something for them and they already appreciate it, but there's always still that risk accepting anything that's gluten-free from somebody who maybe doesn't know every single ingredient to look out for, because I don't want to put that pressure on somebody, you know, to have everything memorized or do all this research. I feel bad. So it's like, if you just take a picture.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely. And I'll have people, oh, they're so nice. Like, everybody wants to be so kind and thoughtful, and they'll make you a treat, and I'm scared to eat it.
Yeah.
Like, I am. I'm scared to eat it. And okay, for those of you who don't want to talk about celiac disease, like, there's tons of allergies and things that this could apply to. Because I even think of at work, we had somebody bring in a birthday treat, super thoughtful. We have somebody who can't eat any dairy in our department. And so this person made what she said was a dairy-free cheesecake. And it was so thoughtful. And the person who had the dairy intolerance was like, are you sure I can have it? Like, really? It's a cheesecake? And absolutely. Sure enough, she ate a piece, got really sick. And then the person who made the cheesecake realized it was lactose free, not dairy free. And so it was an honest mistake. Like,
I could see myself making a mistake like that. Like, obviously they didn't mean to make that mistake.
100%.
They probably just felt sick.
Totally. So it was just so disheartening, because it was with such good, thoughtful, loving intent. And then, you know, if she had only brought the ingredients, that's a great hack. Yeah, bring the ingredients.
On the topic of celiac disease, we're going to move into the daily special, which is where we're talking about trends and things that we're seeing and how we feel about it. And there's something really exciting happening in the world of people with celiac disease, because first of all, I'll explain a little bit about celiac disease for people who maybe have no idea what it is, because I still talk to people all the time who just don't know what celiac disease is. Celiac disease is an autoimmune condition where you cannot eat gluten, because if you do eat gluten, you are going to be doing damage to your body. And basically, the easy way to describe it is your stomach has all of these little finger-like projections that are called villi, and they absorb the nutrients from your food. And when you eat gluten, if you have celiac disease, your body doesn't have the enzyme to break it down. And so what's happening is these villi, which should be absorbing food, are getting damaged. And so if they're like little fingers, all of a sudden it's like the hands don't have fingers and they're not able to grab the nutrients or absorb the nutrients from food, which in turn can have a whole array of effects on your body.
And if it stopped there, we'd be fine. Well, not fine, but it isn't only the villi in your GI tract. Like, the damage can be inflammation in other areas, like seizures.
Yeah.
Like a plethora of adverse events can happen to you just due to the inflammation.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, yeah, that inflammation can go throughout your entire body. And the thing about celiac disease that's kind of confusing for people is lots of people assume it just means you get a tummy ache or maybe you get diarrhea, but that's really not the case. Like Mom said, you could get seizures, you can get brain ataxia, which is basically brain damage. There's so many different things. Infertility, which is a really big one. There's so many symptoms. And for people who realize later on in life that they're diagnosed with celiac disease, like myself and like you, oftentimes it's not presented in a GI symptoms way. And so actually, I don't know for sure if this was the case, but when I was 15, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. I started having seizures randomly. We had no idea why I started having seizures, but it was something that started happening to me. It was really scary. And I did go on meds right away, and those helped. But I also, shortly after, started going gluten-free, unrelated to the seizures. I didn't do it because of the seizures. But since then, I haven't had any seizures. And looking back, it makes me wonder if that epilepsy that I got when I was 15 was actually my body reacting to having eaten gluten and not being able to tolerate it for 15 years of my life.
I completely believe it. And I know if you were to study the etiology of celiac disease, it can cause havoc in many areas. Like I said, seizures, hypothyroidism, infertility, acne, anxiety, depression.
All things I had.
Right?
Everything that I had.
Yeah. And usually the only thing that brings you to the doctor that's the real definitive, let's test for this, is oh man, I've had a month of the runs. And there we go.
But talking about celiac disease, the only way to manage your symptoms and have an improved quality of life with celiac disease is to go on a gluten-free diet. That is basically the only fix as of right now that people are recommended to do by doctors. So that's why both my mom and I, we haven't eaten any gluten in the last 10 years. But what have you been learning about the future for potential people with celiac disease?
I am pumped. I'm guessing the date, but you and I have this little bet, and I've got it with a couple of other people that also have celiac disease, when we're going to eat that cinnamon bun. And I honestly, it's coming down the chute. I am aware of 5 trials that are so close to successful outcomes, where we're going to have an option to take and there are pill a day kind of options. There's lots of different venues that you can go at it. Some people think that, one of the approaches is let's change the way that we make wheat. I think that's just dumb. That's just dumb.
That's a lot of work.
A lot of work. And what about barley? And all the other.
Or rye, right? Malt, all of those other grains.
Yeah. So that's out. But the one that I'm really excited about is this super exciting pill a day. And basically, in celiac disease, we eat gluten, it turns into this gluten peptide, and we have this enzyme that misunderstands what it's supposed to do, and it recruits all these killer cells in our body that causes all these immune reactions. And that's our problem. So if you could inhibit this enzyme, then we're set. It's just, and there's tons of medications like that. And it's basically, the theory of this is immune modulators. That's what it's called. And immune modulators, this is so smart, because my background as a pharmacist is, lung, because I'm old, but my area right now is cancer care, and immunotherapy is where it's at. Right now, I totally predict there will be a day where we're not even giving chemotherapy. Immunotherapy teaches your body how to get rid of bad cells. So these immune modulators make complete sense. And can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine?
You just take a pill every day and then you're fine?
Yeah.
No damage, no stomach aches, no future risk of colon cancer.
Yeah. It's going to just inhibit the enzyme that causes all of the recruitment of these bad cells that cause all these bad problems. And we're just going to shut down.
How can I get on the list for this trial?
I actually looked to see if they're accepting any applicants. No, the studies are closed, but I'm waiting for the results. This is to me so exciting, and it's not just to me, it's for the whole world, because how annoyed is every friend who has that gluten-free friend, right? Oh yeah, we can't go to that restaurant, oh we can't cook that. I think it's just universally, everyone's going to be relieved.
Yeah, that's so exciting. How far in the future do you see something like this coming into like the hands of the public?
I swear, I'm guessing 5 years.
That's so
Right?
exciting.
I'm having a apple pie and baked bread party.
And cinnamon buns and croissants and all of the other good food.
Yeah.
We're going to just eat everything. I really hope that this does come. Like, well, I feel like it will. Like, the studies are happening right now. Like, it's actually being worked on. It's not just like a theory. It's actually...
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen, which is incredibly exciting for me. If you don't have celiac disease, I'm sure you don't understand. But just if you are a gluten eater, think of all the foods you love that have gluten. Probably all of them. I miss those. And so, maybe soon. But on other trending news, this is a complete 180, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's just the most, I don't know, it's a really sad story actually, but it's trending.
Cue crying.
Yeah, no, actually, I might cry telling this story. So I kind of have an obsession with fish right now. I don't really know why. Like, I'm just
live fish,
like watching videos of fish, learning about fish. It's just like
wild fish in the ocean,
like
fish?
Ocean fish.
And you eat fish.
I also eat fish, but like, okay, you know, in Finding Nemo, the angler fish,
Angelfish?
Angler, it's like the one. Okay, remember when Nemo wanders into this really dark part of the sea and there's this fish with these spiky teeth and the light hanging from its forehead, and it's got the light that guides its own way?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a marine biologist near the Spanish islands who was in the ocean filming, and he caught this video of an anglerfish. So this fish that's supposed to be living is a black fish with the little light bulb that hangs. It's not actually a light bulb, but you know what I'm saying, from its forehead, that usually only lives in like the deep parts of the sea where it's so dark that light doesn't even reach it, that swam all the way up to the surface of the sea and came all the way to the surface, which is something that has basically never been seen before by marine biologists. And they got this beautiful video of this fish just swimming straight up, and everybody is so emotional about it online because they're saying this is probably the first time this fish has encountered light that it didn't have to produce itself.
Aww.
And it just went on this crazy journey, and then the fish ended up dying, which is so sad. Okay, if you see the video, it like you imagine this fish as like, I don't know, like a football sized fish or like a little bit bigger, but they're actually only 6 centimeters long. So
and he swam all the way from the bottom.
It was a girl. It was a she. She swam all the way from the deepest depths of the ocean.
Why?
All the way up to the surface, and they're not sure why. So it's actually just really unusual. But the fact they got this on video, this like
she had dementia.
massive. Maybe she had dementia. She probably did.
Our dog, the dog that, okay, this isn't 180, but
yeah,
but our dog right now, God bless her, is almost 16.
She's so old.
And she's great. She's a beagle. To any beagle owner out there, like, I feel you. They're crazy dogs. They're very strong-willed dogs.
Loud.
Very loud dogs. Yeah. And our dog, her name is Holly. She is having these episodes now where she just kind of stands. And I don't know if it's loss of hearing, maybe a little bit confusion, but she's absolutely confused.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the fish story. Maybe it's an old fish.
Maybe. Yeah, I need to find out more information. Maybe it was just that, but like, what a beautiful end of life journey to finally go and
going to the light.
Go towards the light.
She was going to the light.
Literally. Wow. So anyways, that's just something I wanted to bring it up because it is all over. Like, I've seen so many videos of this fish. I just can't escape it. And it just makes me emotional every time I see it. It's just beautiful. Anyways, what else should we talk about? Let's change back to other more hitting trending topics. Oh, okay. One that I want to talk about is eyelid eczema triggers. Have you ever had eyelid eczema?
No, but I understand you have.
Yeah, I have. It's so annoying. It is so annoying. Okay, so last year I randomly got eczema on my eyelids, which I'd never had before in my entire life. And it was just like so annoying. I couldn't get it to go away. It was so itchy and kind of painful and red. Like, it looked like I was wearing eyeshadow, but it was just really uncomfortable. And then on my For You page on TikTok,
Let me guess. They're going to say like eyelash mites or something.
No, actually.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
No. a allergist came up, and I will tag this allergist in my Substack because he is super helpful. I follow him and he's a really interesting guy to learn from. But he basically said if you are having issues with eyelid eczema, there are a few things you should do and check about like if you're wearing them or doing them before you just try to treat the eyelid eczema. And the first one he said, gel nails.
I actually pointed my fingernails before you said that.
Yeah. So he said, apparently there's a chemical in gel nails where if it doesn't cure properly, or sometimes people can just develop an allergy to it, it can cause eczema and it just like presents in your eyelids as like a first spot often.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a really sensitive area.
Response.
But yeah, it's an immune response. So back to the immune topic. And the other one that he said is check your earrings. So if you have metal allergies, which I also know I do, and he said if you're wearing cheap earrings or even like rings or bracelets, just jewelry in general, cheap jewelry that has nickel or that can often cause allergies, that can also be a trigger for eyelid eczema. And at the time I had in a belly button piercing, which was just from Claire's. Like it wasn't like a surgical stainless steel or whatever you're supposed to have belly button piercing. And so I immediately removed both my gel nails because I was just doing them from home. And I switched up my belly button piercing and my eyelid eczema went away.
No way.
Yeah. So if you are currently facing this issue like I was, I just wanted to share that it could be your nails so I don't know which of the two it was for me.
I love that you took that strategy instead of putting on a topical steroid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Well, because I thought about it though, like, oh, I'd love to put on even just like hydrocortisone or something just to like
But let me guess. Then you watch the TikTok guys where their skin is falling off.
Yeah, the topical steroid withdrawal people. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Oh, my heart just breaks for them.
I can't believe it though.
But I do.
I do believe it. But I mean, as a pharmacist, like topical steroids are like first line for so many things and they work. They work and they're great. Mm-hmm. But okay, sorry, that was
wait, but if you haven't heard what topical steroid withdrawal is, it's people who have been using like a cream to treat an eczema or something, like basically what I was dealing with, and when they stop using it, their body freaks out. And previously, if they just had eczema on one part of their body, all of a sudden it might be like their entire body, and their skin dries up and it cracks and it's painful and uncomfortable, and it's this huge process. Like
it's debilitating.
I saw this one guy and he had been trying to overcome these symptoms for years. He had been battling it, and it was like he couldn't go in the sun. The only thing he thought that was helping him in his particular case was swimming in the ocean every single day, because he thought that the salt water was like drying up some of those open sores on him, and was like, but it was really painful, and it still wasn't like a perfect fix. It just helped. So yeah,
crazy
little 180. But what else is trending right now?
Okay, can I tell you something that's well, I don't know if this is trending, but I subscribe to a journal that updates pharmacists and other healthcare professionals on what's coming down the chute. Okay, I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
This is trending. It's a male contraceptive. Basically, the premise is it will rapidly decrease male sperm count. So I think great. I mean,
love it.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay.
I think we need that.
But, okay, I started rethinking this. I thought, absolutely, like decades, women have taken the hit, right? Mm-hmm. Now, honestly, though, it doesn't apply to me. Dad had a vasectomy. So when we were ready, like that's a surgical procedure. A lot of guys are icked out by that. I get that. But, so is getting your tube side.
So is getting an IUD.
Yeah, right?
That's so painful for so many women. Like,
right?
Yeah.
So my thought is like, this is a great idea. But then I'm thinking about this is terrible, but would you trust, hopefully, but would you trust a dude that says, absolutely, I applied the, like, whatever it's called, the male contraceptive gel to my torso.
So it's a gel.
It's a gel. Well, I think actually it's not marketed. So they've talked about topical gel. Injection makes so much more sense to me, because then you could witness it.
Yeah.
Right? otherwise, like, did you really do it? And then with a topical too, like, could it rub off on other people?
Okay, so I had heard, I don't know if this is actually true because I heard it on social media, but they have tried to launch male contraceptives in the past, and the trials have been shot down as soon as they found out that men were having side effects and symptoms such as the potential for weight gain, depression, basically all of the same symptoms that females face on hormonal birth control. Is that true? Do you know if that's true?
I don't know if that's true, but I believe it.
Yeah.
I do believe it.
Yeah, I've heard that they've tried to bring male contraceptives, like a pill, basically exactly what women were doing, forward as an option, and it got shot down due to symptoms like moodiness, irritability.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you that men would withdraw from the study if they felt those side effects were unacceptable. And then your study is, not conclusive. Like, it's not very good. You'd have to have enough participants, right?
Yeah. So I guess your question was, would I trust a guy who said that he had used his male contraceptive gel? No, honestly, I don't think I would. But you started
by saying bring it.
Okay, this is my take. I say bring it because these men now, like, they can use it for their own peace of mind. And I think it's good for them because if they previously were scared of getting a woman pregnant,
fair,
that is a level of protection for them.
Fair.
That they can feel better. Like, I think there probably should be still more protection because I feel like this is me speculating, just thinking, but like maybe this is going to lead to a rise in STIs because now all of these men who before were like, oh, I have to wear a condom, suddenly are like, no, I don't need to anymore, and all of a sudden are going to be having unprotected sex, which they're protected in the fact that they're not going to have a baby, but other stuff could still happen,
Yeah.
That's my first initial thought, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think, just based on the fact that women right now, it's just so hard to trust men in so many situations. Like, that's not a universal statement. Like, there are so many good men out there, but like, if you go to
oh, for sure. It goes both ways. Like, a woman could completely lie too.
Absolutely.
But I think it's not a great marketing plan. I don't think it's going to launch. I think the guys that are going to buy in would be maybe for, fair, for good reasons, for your own personal, content that you're not going to have a child that you didn't plan. But I don't know, man. I think I think they're gonna, no man wants to lower his sperm count.
I could see it being like that. And like, I'm thinking about it a bit more, and I feel like if there's men who are on board with this, that's great. And I feel like, they'll be doing it for themselves, but I personally feel like it's going to be hard for women to
buy in
and trust the men, and also for men to feel like the responsibility now needs to be on them. Like, I just think that there's such a, like, not a standard, I'm trying to think of the right word for this, but just like in society, it's always been, oh yeah, like, make sure that the woman's taking the birth control. Then now suddenly if women were like, oh, have you been taking your birth control? Like, I mean,
it's not funny to even say.
But like, I just feel like people aren't going to buy in super quickly. I could be totally wrong. Like, maybe with younger generations, if you just flip this switch, like if you're targeting high school age students and you were to put that same level of responsibility on men, maybe
we need Matt back on.
Yeah.
Well,
we need to chat with Matt. Let's get him back.
Yeah. Your brother. Yeah. Let's ask him what he thinks.
But yeah, I think that's a good one. But talking about responsibility being on somebody for a big decision, we're going to move into the On the Rocks section, where I have a topic that I would like to talk about. And it kind of ties into everything we've been talking about with like celiac disease and whose responsibility is it for whatever. Peanut-free schools.
Oh, don't even go there. Okay. I should be more open-minded. Okay.
Peanut-free schools, I just wanted to talk about it because I think that this is something that, as somebody with celiac disease, I have a lot of opinions on. I didn't have celiac disease when I was in elementary school, but now thinking like, I'm at the age where it's like, okay, I'm like thinking about like having kids and like, okay, what if they were to have an allergy, or like, what if, okay, so the topic of peanut-free schools is really interesting to me because I feel like allergies are really serious on one hand, But on the other hand, whose responsibility should it be to care for the student or person with the allergy? What is your take on this as a mom?
As a mom, I'm heated on this one because obviously I want the best outcome for every little guy, every little kid, especially with allergies. And I'm invested because I have an intolerance to something. My sister's son, your first cousin, huge egg allergy, massive egg allergy, like exposure to tiny amounts.
Yeah, like if it's in the air.
My example of his immune response to eggs is one time he was camping with his family. He sat down at the picnic table. Maybe the family before him had eggs. He had a massive anaphylaxis, like had to rush him down the highway and meet an ambulance, a whole 9 yards. So I take allergies very seriously because they can be catastrophic. That being said, I don't believe it's a good idea to have like peanut-free schools or peanut-safe areas because every parent screws up. And I am so invested in being that parent who follows the rules and respects the kid with the allergy. And I messed up when I was making your lunches. Like I can remember accidentally sending a stir fry in your little thermos with your and it had peanut butter in it. And I'm thinking, if I messed up and I'm invested, like I bet you there's a whole bunch of people that mess up. And so this means some poor kid at school thinks it's safe for me to hang out with Chloe, and this kid is going to be like, I don't know, sharing your space, and you're going to have peanuts, and you've just messed it for them. Like I think you're better off to just say, hey kid, with like my sister with her child that had the egg allergy, it was on him 100%. There's no way you could tell parents not to bring eggs to school. So it was 100% on him to be aware. And he made it.
Yeah, now thinking about it, like I can see both sides. I really do. Because on one hand, if you can do something to protect a child with an allergy, like I think it's great to do everything in your power to protect that child with an allergy. And if that means not sending peanuts to school, good. On the other hand, I also feel like, how is that child going to manage once they're not in an environment where everybody is looking out for them 100%? If they have this false sense of security growing up in elementary school that like, oh, I know that I'm safe because everything around me doesn't have peanuts, and you know, like everybody's always got my best interests in mind, could that lead to a situation where now that they're older and maybe they're starting to have to make decisions on their own, they might not know what to look out for, or they might not have those thoughts that they should be starting to have at a young age? I don't know if I'm putting that into the best terms.
I would like, but I'd like someone to weigh in who has a life-threatening allergy. Because
like for example, my best friend, or one of them growing up in elementary school, had a deadly allergy to kiwi. So she was extremely allergic to kiwi, same as kind of like the eggs, like couldn't even be around it. And I remember actually having a conversation with her when we were in like 5th grade, because I was at a peanut free school and I was like, oh, don't you wish it was a kiwi free school? And she said no, because she's like, I know what to look out for, and it's good that I'm learning how to be aware of kiwi in the world. And she's like, also, I don't want the whole world to have to change for one person, because that's not what real life is. Like she knew that in 5th grade.
So smart. I mean, every mom who has a child with a life-threatening allergy probably will have hate on me for having that thought, but I truly believe they're naive to think that we're following the rules. Because like I said, I was invested to follow the rules. I felt like I should follow the rules, and I still made mistakes. So I don't know. I think it's just, it's a word, like it's deceiving to the child. Yeah. To tell them you're in a safe area when they're not.
And I guess I'm trying to think of what a better solution would be. Okay, I think I'm just like brainstorming. I'm just thinking out loud. But I feel like it would still be helpful if schools were to send out an allergy list of disclosed allergies if students wish to share them, of like, just so you're aware, these are allergies that may be present in the school, so that like maybe like when parents are packing, they're not going to have like as much stuff. Like,
that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, you don't want the residue of the kiwi or the eggs or whatever it is, peanuts, on the table.
It's like, maybe don't send a pack of peanuts with your kid where it's like, oh, if they open the pack, it might be affecting other children. But at the same time, that's not real life, you know?
Yeah. The ownership has to be on the victim or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
the,
and
the
having
poor kid with
celiac disease now myself, like I didn't have it when I was a kid, so I didn't see that side of things like from childhood, but like as an adult, the responsibility is on me. When I go to restaurants, even if they tell me it's gluten-free, like I'm still looking at everything, like I'm still using my best judgment. If I have a bad feeling about something, I still don't eat it because at the end of the day, it's my issue, you know?
Yeah, and I think it should be. And I don't think like, and the people I work with could vouch for this. Like, I would never expect you to accommodate my issue. It's my issue. That's my issue.
Yeah. Which is why it's good just keep the labels. You can do the best if you want to help accommodate somebody. That's awesome. Like that's
why
so
your hack
good.
is a good one.
But keep the labels just in case. But moving into another topic about kind of like medical issues that are happening in the world. So we were just talking about peanuts, but we're going to move into a separate one, and it's on Accutane. Accutane is something that we've both been on.
Oh, yeah.
If you're okay with me sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been on it more than once. As have you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love Accutane. I'm just putting that out there. I get so much Accutane hate when I talk to people about Accutane. They're like, oh, Accutane's the worst. It can make you depressed, which absolutely there is that side of things. Some people are negatively affected. But for me personally, my experience with Accutane has been nothing but amazing. It has boosted my self-confidence, fixed my skin, made me a happier person in turn because I've got this new sense of self-confidence and I'm happier with what I'm seeing in the mirror every day. But what did you want to talk about with Accutane?
Okay, don't get me wrong. Like there's a role for it and it's not for everybody. And that's to be assessed by your doctor. But there was this documentary in the UK. It's a really sad story. It was a 19-year-old who had some mental health issues. This girl also was taking Accutane and sadly she took her life. So the documentary discussed this. An investigation showed actually that there was no cause and effect. They didn't feel like Accutane was responsible for causing depression that caused her to take her life. Regardless of that, the documentary was so popular that somebody in the wrong field made it the law in the UK to pull Accutane. It is against, from what I understand, May 2024, this study that I read said that in the UK, Accutane has been removed from the market because of as an offshoot of that documentary. And the dermatologists are upset.
I can see why. I can absolutely see why. I feel like that's irresponsible of the lawmakers to have that ability to pull something without being able to show the cause and effect in the studies. Like I can see how it can absolutely be interpreted that way, especially from such a heartbreaking documentary. Like that's so sad that had happened. But sorry, go ahead.
I don't think politics and medicine should cross. Like it was I don't know. It was super sad that this happened, but at the same time, can you imagine how many people would benefit from Accutane? And it's not just teenagers.
No.
As a full-grown adult, and even with rosacea, like Accutane can help with that.
Yeah.
So heart-wrenching to me.
That is heart-wrenching to me because Accutane, like I feel like I can see both sides. Like if Accutane negatively affects your mental health,
get off it.
Get off it immediately. Like or speak to your doctor about options because it can have that effect on
It's a known adverse effect.
Yeah, it's a known effect. But on the other hand, I personally, and this is just my experience, but I feel like it had the opposite effect. I was so depressed when I went on Accutane. Honestly, I was already facing mental health issues. And that was largely because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. It hurt to put my face on my pillow in the shower. Like literally I was uncomfortable because I had acne that hurt on my face when I was under cystic acne that hurt when I'm like literally under running water. And I just wasn't happy with how I looked or how I felt. And Accutane, it got rid of my acne, like pretty much completely. And because of that, I no longer was facing actual painful acne. I felt better and more comfortable. And I feel like it had such a positive impact on my long-term mental health and just like how I viewed myself. Not that I viewed myself poorly 100% because of acne, but it did positively affect it for sure by going on Accutane.
Yeah, I'm sad for our UK friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they just pulled the trigger too early on that one.
That's a sad one.
Yeah.
But on a completely separate topic, I have a story that I came across today on TikTok that I think deserves to be brought up on the On the Rocks topic, just because I haven't had mom perspectives on my podcast before. You're like the first mom. Okay. How cool. And you're my mom, so even better. There was a girl who went to a birthday party, and the aunt was dropping her off, I believe. I think that's how it went. But she had dropped her off at the birthday party, and everybody had been sent their invite in advance. The invite said, we're going to go to the mall. We're going to go to Build-A-Bear, and everybody's going to get to Build-A-Bear. That was what the invite said. So the aunt is like, this is awesome. So they went to the mall. They met at the food court first. Everybody had their pizza. They went into Build-A-Bear, which she noted they didn't have. You can book a party apparently at Build-A-Bear. I've actually never done Build-A-Bear myself. No. But apparently you can book a party. They didn't book a party. They just showed up with all these kids who were there to Build-A-Bear, which is a little bit hectic for the store owners. But whatever. Everybody was there, built their bears. This one aunt specifically spent an extra $35 in accessories on the bear because the mom who was hosting the birthday party had said, I will build your bear like up to $35. Anything extra you want to add is on you. So the aunt was like, no problem, like told her girl, like you can do an extra $35 in supplies. Like I want you to love it. So they did the birthday party, and then after everybody built their bear, they all went back to the birthday girl's house to eat cake and open presents. So they all went back to the house, they ate cake, they opened presents, and at the very end of the birthday party, the mom who's hosting the party turns to all the kids and says, all right, guys, now it's time to give the birthday girl your Build-A-Bear. And all of the kids are like, what?
They bought her a present and the mom wanted them to surrender their...
Yes. So the mom who was hosting the party told everybody that they would be building a bear, but didn't say anywhere on the invite that they would be giving this bear that they built to the daughter. So... Yeah, okay. So what is your take on that right now?
Okay, I'm a mama bear at heart. So I'm on the team guest of the party.
Yeah.
On that one. Because I think you're teaching your daughter nothing if you were the mom of the birthday girl. Mm-hmm. That's super selfish. Like at the end of the day, those poor little heartbroken girls or boys who are going home with no bear that they just built, they're going to learn that it's okay. Easy come, easy go. They're going to get on with it. But I think you have just completely taught your daughter a bad lesson. Mm-hmm. I think because these kids have thoughtfully, or maybe their parents thoughtfully, bought a gift for this little birthday girl. Mm-hmm. And now they've done, like you to me, like you just hosted, you told us earlier, the Galentine's Day party, right? Mm-hmm. And so you want to give back to your friends, because when you give to them, then it fills your heart.
Yeah.
So what has she done?
Yeah. So then the aunt approaches the mom of the birthday party and says, hey, I'm so sorry. I think there was a misunderstanding here. I bought an extra $35 of supplies for this bear, expecting that it was going to my daughter, but that's not the case. And so, like, my daughter plans on keeping the bear. Like, is that okay? And the mom's response was, oh, don't worry about it. We'll try to get a refund on those supplies and just return them to the store, and I'll give you your $35 back.
This mom has a problem.
I think so, too.
Time for an intervention.
I agree. I think if the mom had put on the card that there's no need to get my daughter a present because we're going to build the Build-A-Bear together for my daughter at this birthday party, then I support it. Where if it's like, don't get her a present because the present is like your daughter's going to make the present at the birthday party.
At the very least, she should say, "Okay, kids, build a bear with my daughter in mind." Because what would she like? And then maybe they could kind of not feel so emotionally attached, because I bet you the birthday girl isn't even going to feel the love of the
well, that's the thing.
That
all of a
built.
sudden she's got an extra 8, or I don't know how many kids were at the birthday party. I think it was something like that. Teddy bears that I just think it's kind
I don't even want to know how this little girl's going to succeed in life. She's going to be one of those selfish little things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like potentially, unfortunately.
Unless she learns from it and thinks, Mom, that wasn't cool.
Yeah, but the mom's defense was, well, I'm paying for them. Like, I'm paying for them. Like, you can buy your child her own Build-A-Bear if that's what you want.
Yeah, I'm on team invitee.
I am too. But I know online there were some other takes. Like other people were like, well, if the mom chooses to pay for the bears, she can keep them. But we're going to leave this topic and move into the shaken not stirred section. Even though I will admit, I was kind of shook by the mom's response to that girl. Like if a mom came up to me and was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I think there was a misunderstanding, I bought all these extra supplies for my thinking it was my daughter's bear, then I would be like, just keep it. Just keep it. Your daughter's not going to notice, that she's one bear short at her birthday party where she's receiving one from every single person. She's already getting so many. Anyways, moving into the shaken not stirred section. What is one thing that has shook you recently?
Okay, last time I'm talking about drugs, I promise.
No, I love it.
Okay, there's, I don't know, well, when Ozempic came out, everybody heard about like all of these weight loss things. And
on that note, sorry.
Yeah.
Why am I getting Ozempic ads? Is that legal to be getting like on my Snapchat, on my TikTok? Ads from Ozempic. Everything is like, you should be on Ozempic. Why? No, that's literally what it is saying to me. I don't want to go. Why is it targeting? Sorry.
I don't know why.
No,
are you talking about weight loss and your phone hears you?
No, that's the thing. I purposely avoid weight loss content on my phone. So why am I getting ads for a weight loss drug? I think that should be against the law. Sorry. Continue.
Okay. No shame on Ozempic. There is a role, but not for everybody.
I just don't think it should be I don't think they should be marketing it as you should be on Ozempic, but you don't know who you're targeting.
100%.
Yeah, because there are some people who it's best for them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so this shakes me. There is a new class of drugs. They call them Memetics, right? So I've heard of like these calorie reduction drugs. So they basically, Ozempic isn't one of them, but maybe it's going to hone in on that group where basically, with the calorie reduction drugs, they're an all-you-can-eat concept. So you take this medication, and regardless of how many calories you consume, the medication has some effect on your metabolism, and it stimulates different enzymes, and it basically makes your calorie load low. So whatever. You and I are blessed that we don't have issue with being overweight, and so that one really didn't get me. But the one that got me was this other mimetic, and it's like fitness in a pill.
What?
Fitness in a pill. So basically it teaches your, okay, I'm gonna back it up. So we both know, well, especially you, because you're married to a professional athlete, the value of muscle.
Yeah.
And so
it's all Hamish talks about.
Okay.
You need more muscle mass.
Well, and there's a lot to do with it. Like, so it's not muscle alone doesn't make you healthy, but so much with increased muscle mass improves our health.
Yeah.
And that's like statistically proven. So we know that it helps sharpen your thinking, it guards against depression, it can help a whole bunch of health concerns, right? So all this research has been put into this mimetic that basically teaches your mitochondria, which is like the powerhouse that builds muscle.
Yeah.
The
powerhouse of the cell. That's like the one thing I remember from science.
Okay. It teaches your mitochondria to think you're building muscle. And with that comes everything else that happens when you exercise. So how do you feel about that? Like basically the study is how they gave these mice really all they could eat and no exercise.
Okay.
And these mice are like buff.
That's crazy.
They're jacked.
That's so hard for me to comprehend. I've never heard of this until right now. But I feel like this is great. Right now.
Do you think it's great? Okay.
Well, like actually,
like how would Hamish feel about that? Because he is working his butt off in the gym.
Well, that's the thing though. But if he has equal access to these drugs, think of how much more, like how exponentially more fit he could be. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like if you're also exercising on top of this, he's probably in like, well, he's a professional athlete. He's probably in the top % of the entire world.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is, okay, we need academics, right? We need these brilliant minds in our society, and these people who are stuck in the office or stuck behind their computer or doing research. And in a very simplistic way, I even look at your brother who's in university.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time to work out. You didn't have time in university to work out. Even now, you don't have time. So
yeah, I'm working and working out at the same time with my walking pad.
there you go, right?
Yeah.
And so would it be wrong to take a pill if you then like it actually helps build muscle in rats? We're not quite in people yet.
I think it's great. Like, I see huge potential in this, like, for having a fitter, longer living society. Like, there's correlations in muscle mass and lifespan, right? Like,
totally. But don't you think there's going to be so much controversy? Because I mean, when you work out, that's a big deal. Like, it's a huge life commitment. It's a mindset. And now we're just saying, just pop a pill and just watch TV.
I feel like I need to learn more, because I can't imagine this being something that it just fully works and like doesn't have side effects. Like, even isn't there like new side effects with Ozempic that's coming out, for example, about like bone density loss?
Oh yeah,
and
there's
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't imagine that it's like a magical pill that makes you fit. I just can't see it. Like, what about lung capacity and all of these other, like, I feel like fitness correlates to so many different parts of your body, like cardiovascular health, muscle mass, like lung capacity.
But they're claiming it actually is triggering the same response that exercise does.
All of those? That's insane to me, to think that it would improve lung capacity if you're not actually like breathing more. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I don't know about the lung capacity.
Okay. I'm just sorry. I'm just thinking
it might be like there's anaerobic and aerobic exercise, right? So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be jumping the gun, but I do know it's insane.
And I feel like this is something that's going to get banned in professional athletes, though. Do you know what I mean? Because like right now, performance enhancing drugs, Hamish can't even drink too much coffee before going to a game. You know,
which is a problem.
No, literally, like
I feel for him.
Yeah, like I feel for him. Like
I know.
There's so many things that he just can't do that, like blood doping, for example. That's been proven to help with athletic performance, but you legally can't do it if you're. I'm thinking of all of this from like a professional athlete standpoint, just because I'm married to one. But like, if you can't do blood doping or something that's proven to help, I feel like you wouldn't be allowed to be taking a drug like this as a professional athlete. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but how? Yeah, 'cause I don't even know if they know. I don't know how they would even know.
Test for it. Yeah, if there's like a that's really interesting.
Really interesting. Anyway, it just engages all the same networks. The physical activity would.
Like, would you just be sitting sweating in your desk all day?
I don't think you sweat.
Okay, well, so you're telling me it does everything except for makes you sweat?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'll wait a few years and you update me on this, okay?
Okay, so the class of drugs is basically Memetics, and we'll find out. Okay. We'll find out. They're a wall away. We're seeing some pretty fit mice right now.
Yeah. Okay, my shake and not stirred.
Yeah.
You know the movie Shrek?
Yes.
I just learned this week. You know Lord Farquad? It's supposed to be like, you know, I'm gonna swear.
First time
it's
ever.
It's supposed to sound like fuckwad.
Okay.
How didn't I know this? I just found out. How didn't I know this? I spent my whole life and I never once questioned it. And yeah, it makes sense.
To all the listeners right now, Chloe has the cleanest mind out of any human being. I am absolutely certain that every parent that watched Shrek with their kids loved it because of all of the adult jokes.
They were over my head when I watched it, but I need to watch it back.
You're 26 and you're just...
Yeah, turning 27 next month. Wow. How did I not realize that until somebody brought it up?
Aw.
I never thought about it. But we're going to move to the very last section, and we're really quickly going to mention one thing that we are both obsessed with. And I'm obsessed with charm bracelets right now because I bought charms and bracelets, and we made charm bracelets at my Galentine's, and they are so fun to make.
Aw. Like your favorite things or manifesting things, or what are your charms of?
So I made a couple bracelets because I had lots of supplies. One is just of my favorite things. So it's got like a daisy, a dragonfly,
Aw.
seashells, like
Yeah.
just like everything that I love. So when I look at it,
makes your heart full.
I look at it and it just makes my heart full. I feel like this bracelet is just like
Perfect.
perfect. It's just got
Perfect.
everything I love. But yeah, I'm obsessed with that. What are you obsessed with right now?
Okay, 2 things. First, you mentioned it at your other podcast. Shout out to Kai Dickens for the telepathy tapes.
Yes.
Okay, I can't get that out of my mind.
Me neither. I'm still obsessed with this.
Okay, so do you want to, in one sentence, say what it is, and then I'll tell you what my other obsession.
Well, I'll just say if you want to know what it is, go listen to my last podcast episode because we talk about it a lot more, the telepathy tapes.
Yeah.
But it's insane. Even shout out to my friend Davey. I bet he's listening right now. I just chatted to him about it and he even has gone down the deep dive and he said what he really loves about the telepathy tapes is it explores telepathy from a scientific perspective.
Yes.
You know? So you should go, like, if you're listening to this right now, I so highly recommend it. I'm going to link it in the description and I'm going to link it in my Substack so you can go and check that out yourself. It's crazy. Okay, what's the second thing that you're obsessed
the second one is super duper easy, but and you got me on this. I think you actually bought me my first gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. Every single night without fail, even here, I'm visiting you in Calgary and I brought my gratitude journal and I write down 3 simple things, 3 that I'm grateful for. And if it's a bad day, it can be like the heat is on in the house and it's -30. Like it can be something simple.
Yeah,
it
could be like having a safe space to write this right now. You know, like
yes,
it can be so simple. I think having a gratitude journal is one of the biggest positive actions I've taken in my life that is easy to implement. Like at the end of the night, you just write 3 things. And I feel like even after the worst day, like if I just had like a really crappy day, taking a moment to like shift my mindset into something positive and think like, what am I grateful for? It actually can really have such an amazing impact on your mental health and perspective.
It does. Yeah. And the theory behind it is you're looking for the good things in life instead of the bad things.
Yeah.
And instead of, and I had this talk with Dad just yesterday, instead of like, I need you as a sounding board, I need to vent. Do you need to vent though? Or do you need a sounding board? Or is it better to say, I'm really glad that's over. And wow, like, you know, I'm so glad this. And I find it's really changed my ability to deal with stress and just your outlook.
100%.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think, for me, like I'm a very positive person. I always try to find the good in things. And I think a lot of people think that that's a bad trait. Like I think a lot of people think I'm living in La La Land, you know, like I'm not recognizing the seriousness of situations or I'm not, you know, actually taking time to think about how bad things can be, like basically that. And they think because of that I'm not taking things seriously. But I think having a positive attitude and always looking for the best in things is truly one of the best things you can do for your mental health.
I agree.
And I feel like it is completely reframed the way I think about everything, but in the best way possible. Life is good if you really think about it, you know, like
oh, it is. And especially here, like life is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
our problems are tiny.
Yeah. Especially good that you could come on my podcast today.
Oh, I'm so glad. How many moms would have a kid who wants to talk with them for an hour? That's so exciting.
I mean, we already talk for an hour every day. So
I know.
This one's just recorded.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm super thrilled you could come on. That's why our podcast
you.
was running a little bit late this week, guys, because I was getting my mom on. So I'm pumped that she could be here to chat. And I love your perspective on things because I feel like you think of things a lot broader than I do sometimes. You know, sometimes I get in a little, you give me perspective.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so
no, I don't think so. I get stuck in a rut really easily too.
No, but it's good. But for everybody who is listening still, I just wanted to say thank you for listening this far. I love having you guys around, and I'm so grateful you could listen to this conversation with me and my mom. And this is going to be one of the things I put in my gratitude journal for today. So if you haven't already given this a 5-star review, if you have, first of all, thank you so much. But if you haven't, this is your reminder that I love to see every time somebody gives me a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to to this, and that I also have a Substack. So if you don't have time, I mean, you've obviously had time if you've listened this far, but if you want a really quick newsletter that covers the topics that I talk about, has links to the resources and a little bit more information, you can always subscribe to my Substack, which is basically an email newsletter, or if you have the app, you can access it there. And I go through every episode and I just do a quick breakdown. So you can subscribe there. I'll have the link in the description. But thank you everybody for listening. And until next time, cheers!